The 2024 New York Rangers season, 2023-2024 season, has come to a painful close as the Rangers drop Game 6 2-1 in Florida. And for the third year in a row, the Rangers drop in the playoffs. Eastern Conference Finals 2 of the last 3 years. 2 of the last 3 years, they've fallen in the Eastern Conference Finals in 6. So once again, we're 2 games away from a Stanley Cup appearance. Couldn't get the job done. So the Rangers season's over. Painful close. I know, Joe, you said it. Now you got to wait basically 10 months, basically a year, really, until if this team gets back. But, whenever the season ends, I kind of said it last stream. It's kind of, you really don't know what to say. You kind of, in the heat of the moment, you kind of have to, I guess, let everything digest. But, just, I guess, to open here, I mean, we'll talk about the game, but I'm sure we'll probably get into more of where this team needs to go from here in terms of roster-wise. But what is, I guess, your blunt reaction to this game and your thoughts now that the season's over?
First, I'd say that team should go into that locker room, and every single one of the players should go up to Igor and give him a hug or something.
Yeah.
I mean, they lost every game in the series, besides the one in overtime. The 3 games that they lost, they get 2 goals. I mean, how many games do you think that they won this season when they only give 2 goals? You know?
Mm-hmm.
It sucks. And the biggest thing is I know salary cap and they have no moves and stuff, but they got to find a way to get out of Panarin's contract or Zibanejad's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
People are like, no, how could you say that? You got to look at the big picture. The regular season doesn't mean anything. It doesn't. This is not a rebuilding team. This is a team that needs to contend and win a cup, and the regular season means nothing. And they need to kind of do what the Panthers did. They get the 100-point player in Huberdeau. They realize, okay, we can't win with this finesse soft play. They get rid of him. They get a guy like a Chuck.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks because I like Panarin. I think he's a good player, but they need to get rid of him. I think or Panarin or Zibanejad, but I think the easier move is getting rid of Zibanejad just because the contract is not as much, and he's probably a little bit better of a value per se because Panarin's a little bit older and on a bigger contract. But again, tough to move them with deadline or with no trade clauses. But this team's not going to win with them, especially when your top guys don't come through. And it's not like I'm giving a pass to Kreider because he wasn't good, but those are your 2 guys that you need to come through.
Yeah.
Kreider came through in the other series, and
I mean, Kreider kind of, I guess, had a leash, but it still doesn't make up for the fact.
Yeah,
that
it doesn't. And then I'd say this too is they gotta kind of try to get out of the Trouba contract too. I mean,
yeah, Trouba's terrible. Trouba's days, that better be his last game as captain. If he comes back, he can't. Dude, he sucks. He's terrible.
He's not good enough for the money he makes. And even if he was getting
even
paid,
if he gave him a cheaper, he sucks. He's terrible.
He's just kind of a liability out there, especially in the first goal where he just gets out of position and kind of gives Bennett a chance to get wide open when he misses. I believe that was Lindell. I don't know who made that pass. Maybe it was Rodriguez. I think it was Rodriguez.
It was Rodriguez, yeah.
Rodriguez drops the pass after sidestepping Trouba, and then a beautiful shot. I mean, look at the goals that they scored. I mean, 1 in a million shot, not a million, but 1 out of every 100 shots that goes in, especially on a guy like Igor. I mean, perfect shot, no chance. And the other one, Trouba or Miller gets beaten to a puck battle.
Yeah, and Panarin kind of gave up on the play too.
Schneider and
Panarin gave up in the neutral zone.
Don't really get in front that great. Where Schneider's late getting back, doesn't pick up Tarasenko, backdoor, no chance. So, it doesn't matter again what the regular season is, and Igor Shesterkin was phenomenal, and maybe it's a thing of the past where you need a good goalie, but maybe your goalie can't be your best player
Yeah. Well, we've known that for about a decade and a half.
Goaltender cannot be your best player, and he needs to be one of them, but I don't think he can be the best because in the playoffs, again, it doesn't matter if he gave up one goal, they probably still lose that game. So I don't know. I think I'll just say this was disappointing. Obviously,
It's a failure. This season's a failure in my eyes.
we thought this was going to be the year. All the signs, 90. I'm kind of happy that it's over with, where we don't really have to hear that again because we're not going to really hear that ever again. I think the 94 comparisons. I don't think will ever be mentioned again.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks and the Rangers are back in the next year, and the Knicks are healthy. That if you'd hear it again,
it's been 30 years. Been 30 years now. It's gone 30 years. It's been 10 years now since the finals appearance. I don't know. At the beginning of the year, I really thought they were going to get to the finals with all like the, similarities with like I said, the Vezina in the year that ends in 2 to conference final appearance, then eliminated in the next year early, fire the coach, then you get a new coach, and then but I don't know. The Panthers were the better team, but the Rangers, I think, needed their guys to come through because I'll say this: all of their role players played awesome. I mean, granted, maybe they didn't score more than you'd like them to, but I mean, Cooley was great. Gaudreau was unbelievable. Wenberg was good. I mean, regardless of what we think of him scoring wise, he's not a goal scorer. He's a defensive.
And you can't get on him for that because they're supposed to be the Mika, the Kreiders, the Panarins that are scoring the goals.
He did his
Wenberg
job.
can't be relied on.
I didn't really like Roslovic too much. He missed a fucking open net. He'll be gone, so don't really need to talk about him. Don't really need to talk about Wenberg either, though they both won't be on this team next year. I think I don't know what they're going to do as far. We'll have a video and recap the season, maybe a little bit of a preview of what they should do in the summer. But again, that's for another time. But I think the defensemen played okay for the most part. I mean, a couple of bad turnovers. Obviously, Trouba was terrible with all the penalties.
You need more defensemen. Looking at this series, especially getting pucks in and out of the zone, you need more guys like Schneider. You need more guys with that speed. Even Zach Jones. Yeah, you need more offense. You need guys with speed. Trouba's not that. Trouba's the complete 180 of that, and it showed.
They need more offense out of them.
Yeah, no doubt. You hope Miller next year takes a bigger step. Again, we'll get more into that all probably a couple days from now this week, kind of once the dust settles from this. But
it's just frustrating with Panarin. I'm sorry, like I keep going back.
No, and I thought I love Panarin.
People that are defending him are insane because it's a 3 years isn't a fluke. 3 years it's a sample size, and in a large margin consistency. It's not like he played good 1 year, bad 1 year, good 1 year, bad. It was bad. I mean, and I don't give a shit that he scored that. It's funny, hilarious, honestly, that he scores that goal because he didn't do anything and he scores a meaningless goal, kind of.
When it meant nothing.
Yeah, it didn't mean nothing. I didn't think, and even though there was like 2 minutes left, I didn't think they were going to score.
You knew that game was over, dude. 2-0. Panarin scored. You knew the game was over. They weren't. They couldn't even get set up again.
It's just to think that he just doesn't do anything. He doesn't get involved in the play. He doesn't really shoot the puck that much. He gets pushed around. He's not physical, and he can't play in tight quarter games. They could have won the cup this year. Maybe if Igor kind of was able to steal and a couple bounces went their way this series. I think they could have done a lot better against the Western Conference teams. That's neither here nor there. Didn't happen. So hypotheticals, but I think maybe he would have benefited from a series with an opening in the neutral zone where it's not tight against like the Oilers or the Stars. But he was god awful. I mean, paying this guy $11.6 million, he scored 120 points in the season, 49 goals, and I don't know, what did he have? 3 goals in the playoffs? How many goals did he have?
I'm sorry, what was that?
How many goals did he have in the playoffs? 3?
Who?
Panarin.
Yeah, I believe so. No, he had 4, I think, because he had 14 points and then he had 10 assists.
He had 1 goal this series.
He had 4 because today he had the 3. He had the 2 in the Carolina series, 1 and 3. Then he had that game.
No, he had 2 in the Capital series. He had the goal in game 1, and then he had the winning goal.
Oh yeah, no. So he had 5 then.
Oh, what was the other one? Oh, the
Wait, he
fluky
had
goal.
2 goals in game, and he had 2 goals in the Washington series. He had that game 1 goal against Carolina.
The fluky goal, yeah.
Yeah, and then he had the
Okay.
overtime, and then today.
And
So
then
5.
Zibanejad had what, 3 goals?
Yeah, and he didn't score in the last 11 games,
Mm-hmm.
which is pathetic. Yeah, I'll get straight to the star. I tweeted this out. I'm tweeted this out after the game. I think, this core needs a shakeup. I don't think you blow it up, and that's why I was actually just reading ESPN's Plus article on what the Rangers to do in the offseason. But and again, we'll talk more about that in the coming days. But yeah, I mean, you need to find your. I feel like the Rangers, in a way, kind of need to find like their Kachuk, a physical guy that's going to show up in the playoffs, star, or somebody that could replace Meek or Panarin.
Yeah.
Because you even just look, they're not even physical. They're not physical. You need to find a guy that's going to provide offense,
That could be
play in the
Cooley.
top 6, and
Could
provide
be Cooley.
physicality.
I think next year we got to see Cooley play more.
It could be.
Maybe
But
Offman.
you need to move on, and I love Panarin. He's been my favorite current Ranger on
They
this
need to
team.
move on from him.
But you need to move on from one of him or Mika. I think the likelihood is they move on from him if they are going to move on from somebody, because I think Kreider, they're just not going to want to break up Mika and Kreider. Like that's
They
just
have to. They cannot play next year at all with each
no,
other.
I know, but I don't think they're going to like move on from Mika.
Yeah.
I doubt they move on from Mika. I think if anything, they move on from Panarin.
I think Panarin needs to be traded, and I think they got to probably buy out Trouba. I think those are 2 moves that need to happen.
Yeah, I would agree. Trouba stinks.
Because if you're just gonna go, you're gonna waste Igor. I think if you go like, oh well,
you could say you've wasted 3 years if you go already. This isn't your.
I think this is the second year that they wasted him. I think the first year was not a fluke, but I mean, come on, we weren't gonna win the cup that year. I think the previous 2 years, this year and last year, I think had the teams to win. To a sense, I mean, obviously they're not fully finished as a product for the Stanley Cup playoffs, just the physicality and stuff like that. I don't think they were built for that, but I think that I think they need to make sure that they can retool, and it sucks because like it really hurts to say this because I like Panarin. I think he's a great player, but you're not going to win a cup with him as one of the main guys. The power play was bad. They had 1 power play today, but it was bad. And they had 1 power play goal in the series. But that's not why they lost the series. I think it wasn't like they were getting numerous chances and just they were bad on it. Factor, obviously. I think the biggest factor was just regardless of what the situations were in the game, that those 3 guys didn't do anything. And I don't want to get too much into Kreider. He does deserve some blame, but I think, yeah, like you were saying, Mika or Panarin should. I don't think they will. And that's why I don't think this team's ever going to win with his core.
No. They need a shake up. The core needs a shake up.
They're going to run it back. They're going to run it back.
I mean, you've seen teams. Well, they probably will. I mean, they've.
And the thing is, like,
after last year, they could have
what
reset.
Sucks is that a couple things. One, I think they truly would have beaten the Oilers and the Stars. That sucks. And 2, like obviously, it's hard to get to the Final Four. Again, we fell short again where we got to.
And they were just the better. Like they weren't even. Teams? They were Florida was just the better team. Like they were just so much better than us. I think the Rangers, you got to go into the offseason. We kind of went into the offseason last year.
I'll tell you this, they weren't. I don't think they were that much better because of Igor obviously leveling it out. I think their star guys were better.
Yeah, I mean they were better in every single facet of the hockey game other than
I don't think Barkov and Kachuk even play that good.
Well, they didn't, but at the end of the day, they were better. They were better than us. Like we didn't belong in that. I thought the Rangers had chances today. They were shooting a lot. Which you got to give them credit. It felt like though with the Rangers,
it just felt like nothing was going to go in.
What do you say?
I felt like nothing was ever going to go in.
Yeah, it felt like the Rangers was more quantity over quality.
It was a very Tampa Bay Game 6-esque feeling where it didn't feel like anything was ever going to go in. It was a 1-goal game all the way to the end, and then obviously Florida gets the 2-goal lead, and you get right back in. So I would have been rich man today if I bet the 2-1 score because that's what I thought it was going to be, but I didn't bet. Should have bet on it, but I didn't.
And look, having a great goaltender is awesome, but it's, you kind of have debates like this in sports where like what positions are massive. I mean, I think goaltending is huge, but I mean, Darcy Kemper won a Stanley Cup. It's like
I think
you
a
can
great
get away
goalie,
with
a great goalie
average
can
goaltending.
can
You can't get
win.
away with average play from your stars or below average play from your stars.
A
It's just
great
the
goalie,
reality.
a great goalie can win games, but I don't think by himself can win a Stanley Cup. I don't know.
No.
I don't. When's the last time that's happened?
No, I mean,
Like,
if that's the case, then Lundqvist would probably have 2 rings.
the thing about it is, like, Carey Price kind of carried that team in 2021. They
And look
didn't
what
win
happened.
because they were just dominated. I mean, the Lightning team
That
was
was
built
such a
perfect.
insanity run, though.
I know they had. I'm not saying he's overrated. He's a great goalie, but I mean, Vasilevsky gets a lot of extra hype because his teams are very good, and he's a good goalie. But I don't know. I don't think he's better than Igor. I don't even think. I don't even think. I don't. Who said Bob was better than Igor?
Yeah, I don't know who said that. Bob wasn't better
Or
than
is it like
Igor.
Bob
No,
wasn't
I
better than
think he
Igor?
means. I think he's
It wasn't even
disagreeing that
close. It wasn't even.
Bobrovsky was. I think he says Bob was better.
It wasn't. It was not even close. Igor was 1,000. Bob Barossi played like shit in this series. Didn't play good in any of the games. I thought
It's not even. It's not even that, dude. The chances that the Florida had on Igor were so much
in the high danger chances that
higher.
they had, like the Rangers would hit like the post or like the crossbar. So
Yeah, like no, the
he was
Rangers.
bad.
If you just watch the game today, the chances Igor faced were so much more dangerous than what Bobrovsky faced.
Oh my god, Igor made some phenomenal saves tonight. It was ridiculous.
Just because Igor lost
Game could
doesn't
have been
mean
like 4-0.
that's kind of a lazy. That's a lazy take.
Yeah, no, it wasn't even close. Igor is the best goalie in the league, but again, at the end of the day, it doesn't mean
This
shit.
series would have ended. The Rangers probably would have gone swept
Yeah.
if Igor wasn't in that.
Any other goalie was in, they would get swept.
Yeah,
Any other goalie in the
that's
league.
sad because how many times have we had the conversation over the years, and when is this organization finally going to learn?
I guess the only positive thing is that it doesn't matter what he goes through in the regular season, ups and downs, he's going to be there in the playoffs. So I guess we can say that.
Yeah, I think you do make a point. This year was kind of like the first time there was probably
Even
legitimate
last year, he
concern
wasn't
with
great
Igor.
in the regular season up
Mhm.
until a certain point. Then turned it on at the end. It was great in the Devils series.
Yeah, and no help there either. Dude, this game screamed. I mean, the score I know was different, but this game just felt like that. Well, I mean, no, it was the same score actually. This game just screamed Game 6 against Tampa.
I
Same
said
thing.
that. Yeah, it was exact. Except that we got the goal after they got the goal in the third period instead of vice versa. Like we scored.
Even just going into it, you knew. Like I went into that Tampa series 2 years ago with no hope. No,
Yeah, I was like,
once Game 3,
I was excited to be there. I mean, they could have won the cup
I mean,
because when you get to the Final Four, one of those teams has to win. But I don't know. It's just a disappointing season. I wouldn't say failure. I'd say disappointing. I'd say disappointing. I know you said failure, but
I'd say failure. You win the
I'd say,
President's Trophy. You get that performance from Igor. You have
to
a
be fair,
chance to. This is another reason why it's failure. Is
they really only won one series. I mean, come on. The Capitals didn't count. That wasn't a real playoff team.
but
Which they should
I
be
consider it
rewarded
a
for
failure.
winning the President's Trophy, where you should have an easy first round, which they did. But I don't know. I think they're better than the Hurricanes. So I think the team that they need to beat is going to be the Panthers or any team that kind of plays the style of hockey.
Yeah.
I think the Hurricanes.
I mean, look, maybe you get. I don't know about
if the Hurricanes end up with a goaltender, they're going to be scary. But this is not anything as me being salty or coping or anything. But I'm just going to say this because I was watching people on Twitter. The Devils would
I knew you were
would
going to
probably lose. They'd lose a series after the first game because they don't have goaltending. They're soft. The Devils fans, like, I get it. Come at us because we do the same thing. I'm not saying don't talk your shit. I mean, it's a little odd because your team missed the playoffs, but it's fan bases. We give each other shit all the time. That's okay, but I just want to say this: the Devils would get the crap beat out of them it would be worse than this. They'd lose like 6-7-0 in all these games because their goaltending sucks, their defense sucks, and their better players are kind of soft guys. I'm not saying they're not good players. Like Jack Hughes would probably have like a Panarin type series. But I don't want to get into too much of that. I'm sorry for mentioning that.
No,
I kept
and
seeing
I
that, and
agree.
I was like,
No,
all
yeah,
right, whatever.
I had a feeling you were going to go there. And I will say
It's
this
open
too about
season on
Devils
the
fans.
Rangers. It's going to be open season for like the next couple days, and then once the Stanley Cup Finals start, they won't really mention us anymore. But for the next couple of days, it's going to be all Rangers hate,
Yeah.
which again, it's warranted. Sports, I'm okay with that. I just think that you really can't talk when your team isn't good, and you would get blown out too. But whatever.
Yeah. And if anybody would like to call in, links in the chat, any other comments or questions, you can drop them in there. Kind of a therapy session, I guess. But no, yeah, I mean, you make a point. The Devils fans, like, even on Twitter, they're all posting a quote of
They can do that though. They have
Igor.
every right to
No,
do it. I
yeah,
just
I don't
think it's
care. The
funny.
Rangers were doing the same thing. The Rangers would do the exact same thing.
I would never do that for
No,
personally
yeah,
because
but
I just don't
Rangers
care
fans would
enough.
do it. They
I
would do
know
the
that
exact same thing.
1,000% Rangers fans do that, but I just when we lose,
And
it's just like I don't care about anything else but
and
the
my
Rangers.
what I find interesting though is all these Devils fans are like, oh, they're posting the Igor quote, which I get. And it's like, oh, if you don't win the cup, it doesn't matter. Well, yeah, we all agree. Like Rangers fans agree with that. This, in my eyes, I don't know for you, disappointing, but at the end of the day, I think every fan base would agree with that. Like,
Yeah,
we're not going to sit here and defend
pile
it
on
and say, oh
hour,
no, we
but
made the playoffs.
again,
It's not any different for the Rangers. Yeah, we didn't win the cup. It's pathetic. It's a failure. You
they
win the
lost.
President's Trophy, you don't win
I
the
don't
Stanley
think it's a
Cup.
failure. I'd say
I think it's a failure.
I wouldn't say failure because they lost to a team that's better than them.
Yeah, but it's just
If they lost to the Capitals, that's like a failure. I think getting to the conference final
I
and
still think
going
it's a
6
failure.
games to a team.
All year we thought this was it. All year, team of destiny. This is the year. This is it. And then you fall short once again. And let's be honest here.
They had to get to the
This
finals.
is another reason too. That in 2022, it was a kind of a I don't know, I guess kind of playing with house money type of year. We
I
didn't
agree.
expect to go that far. And the sad reality is the Rangers haven't been further than that since. They've only been it's been the same spot. Like it's kind of similar to like for baseball fans out there, the Yankees. 2017 ALCS, they got the game 7. That was a team that nobody expected to go anywhere that year. And ever since that, they haven't been back. The closest they've been was game 6 in 2019 in the ALCS. It's the same thing with this Rangers team. And they've tried, and this is another thing with this core, why it needs to be shaken up. They've tried everything. Year 1 was kind of that.
That's what I'm saying.
Play with house money. Last year they went all in with Tarasenko and Kane. This year they kind of went back to relying on them, and
they can't wait to get a grindy, hard team to play against, forechecking team until it's too late with Igor. Igor's prime is now for I'd say hopefully 5 years. They gotta strike when the iron's hot, right? They can't wait. They cannot just say, okay, we're just gonna wait and just hopefully we can sneak by and Igor wins a series that we shouldn't win. I think they need to make moves. And the moves that I know we don't want to get too far into it, but whatever. Who the hell cares? Let's just talk whatever we want to talk about. They need to get rid of Panarin. I mean, you can get rid of no. Get rid of Panarin. Zibanejad, I have faith. He's been but he goes through these dry spells, and granted, it's not great what happened with him this season. Those huge gaps in goals and not scoring 5 and 5, and especially 11 games in a row in the playoffs, no goals. But I think there's something still with him where he has played well in the playoffs. In 2000 or in 2022, he was our best player. We haven't seen that ever from Panarin in the playoffs. So, he's got to go, and Trouba's probably got to go. I don't really care. I don't think feelings should be in consideration when you're doing this. You can't be like, okay, we can't get rid of him because he's the captain. I think that's moronic.
Nobody cares.
You do whatever it takes to get your team to the finish line, and if it looks bad, if you buy him out, oh well, who cares? He's a liability. I always try to be as pro Trouba as possible, but it's gotten to a point where I can't really support him anymore. I mean, the hitting I'll never be upset with. I don't think he's a dirty player, but I think the thing that hurts us the most is his slowness to retrieving pucks, bad turnovers, not smart pinches, I guess if you want to call it, when he's going to make a play at his blue line. Never hits the net, ever in the offensive zone. I think he's just slow and he's beaten down, and you could say maybe he's injured, but I think an injured Trouba is way too much of a liability, as you see Lindgren hurt year in, year out, and every year, and he still plays decently well when he's hurt. Sucks. I don't know how much of an impact Fox could have made fully healthy. It is nice to see that he's going to be able to get fully healthy going to the next season. Had the 2 knee injuries. Maybe it was still lingering, and then he got even more hurt. But, Yeah, they gotta get rid of Panarin. I think they gotta find a way to get out Trouba's contract. I think you gotta have a little bit of a core in place where you can build around. Like, Lafreniere is going to be a good player. Kreider is a guy who's a veteran presence. He's an all-time Ranger. You're not getting rid of Kreider. I don't think they should. He's come up clutch in the playoffs. Granted, he fell asleep this series, but it happens. I mean, he's proven enough to me where I keep Kreider. Kreider deserves a spot on this team. And I think Lafreniere is going to be good. I like Cooley. I think Gaudreau, he's earned that contract. I think, he's not going to be great maybe in the regular season, but he's going to block shots, kill penalties, win faceoffs in big situations. He was awesome. Just trying to go through these guys here. I mean, Trocheck was amazing. I know he's battling a hand injury. Still had like 20 points in the playoffs, which is awesome in 14 games or 15 or 16 games. So that's another building piece. He's a great playoff player to have. I think I would have liked to see Hedl, full season. I'm excited to see what he can do next year if he can stay healthy. I don't blame him for not playing well. I mean, again, it's tough mentally to come back from this, physically to come back from that. You already know my opinions on Panarin and Zibanejad. Lindgren needs to come back. I think he's a guy that I trust to block shots, play good, gritty defense, has chemistry with Fox. And I think you need players that play well injured, and he is definitely one. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You need guys that you can trust to still play good in their game, even if they're banged up, and I trust him. Schneider's going to be a good player. Miller, I don't know. I don't know. I still can't get a read on Miller if he's going to be good or not. Makes a lot of dumb mistakes. Trouba's gone. The Gustafson's gone. Well, Trouba's not definitely gone. I think he should be gone, but there's a chance he probably stays. Probably a good chance. Gustafson's not coming back. I think you can just put
Wenberg, Gustafson, Roslovic, they'll all be gone.
Jones can fill that role. I think you'll see Jones play the full season next year. If he's not doing great, they'll probably add some at the deadline. I'm trying to think.
I think just talking on Fox here, Fox was pretty banged up. I know
he's
Alec
hurt.
here commented
He played well in tonight's game. I think he played well in some of these games. I don't blame him. It sucked because I don't think he was as effective on the penalty or in the power play, and that's a big part of his game. He struggled like stepping into the middle, head faking, trying to make like quick jukes. Didn't really help. I'm trying to think. Obviously, Igor is phenomenal. Best goalie in the league. I have 100% faith on him. As long as he stays healthy, this team can really go deep in playoff runs. I don't think they can win with this team just as he's playing now. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, what more could he have done?
Yeah, I
think we've gotten to a point where it doesn't matter how great
they're not winning with this core.
That's what I'm saying. He can't be your best player. He could be one of them, but he can't be your best with a team like this.
Wrong with me, Panarin, Panarin calls us. Yeah.
Cooley, like I said, had a good series, had a good season. Didn't put up a lot of the points, but he's a good fucking player. He's going to be a playoff guy. Miss anybody?
Maybe this is a stretch, but like, I mean, I'm just thinking of guys you could potentially go after.
Kakko needs to get more playing time. I'd say that. I know a lot of people hard on him. I think he's going to be a good player. He needs consistent top 6 minutes.
Yeah.
He needs confidence. He's a good, strong boards player that is very effective in the playoffs. He made some good plays tonight. He almost scored a goal in the first period. BC, obviously, I thought was fine in the regular season. He's a good fourth-line player. Brzezinski's a good fourth-line player, so you bring some of those guys back. But, I mean, the guys that are on expiring contracts, I don't expect any of them to come back except – obviously, Kakko and Schneider, I think, are up, and then Lindgren will come back. And then the guys at the deadline and Gustafson will not be back. Quick will be back. I'm excited for that. Maybe, he has one last hurrah, and hopefully they win the cup for him. But I don't know. I just think that, like I said, you got to get rid of – I know I'm rambling on here, but, I mean, you got to get rid of Panarin. I'm sorry. And Trouba. Both those guys need to go.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah, trying to circle – what do you say?
What do you think Trouba, I think, is a simple buyout. I think that's the path to get rid of him. What's the move with Panarin?
Probably trade him, right?
Would he accept a trade, do you think?
Panarin?
I think he's probably like he probably doesn't feel I think he would accept a trade.
Yeah, but I don't think he'd be like I
think he'd feel a little disheartened that the team was going to trade him, and I think that would kind of motivate him to be like, okay, you can trade me. I just don't think it sucks it didn't work out in the playoffs. I mean, he's one of the best regular season Rangers. He's one of the best regular season Rangers I've ever seen. We've seen in our lifetime. Yeah. So, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do in the regular season.
A guy like Like Brady Kachuk's realistic.
Maybe. I know they have a lot of salary cap. I know he's their captain, so it might be a little hard to get rid of him. But I mean, yeah, I think that's a guy I definitely want in the playoffs. I mean, he doesn't play wing though, so maybe that's a little bit of a hard move right there because Trocheck is a first line center in the league, and I don't know. Maybe you can get rid of Zibanejad then. Maybe Zibanejad, that could be a move then. Zibanejad for Kachuk.
Send Mika back to Ottawa.
Not trade up because he's obviously worth more than Zibanejad, I think, just because he's younger. I think Zibanejad and like a first round pick and maybe Offman for Kachuk. I'd probably do that.
Yeah.
I think that you got to find out a way to get an elite player with grit.
Yeah, and that's what. Yeah, that's exactly
You know
what
what I
we
was
did.
thinking? Maybe they can get Crosby. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he's gonna be. I don't think he's gonna want to come here anyway.
No
But
way Crosby ever puts on a Ranger uniform.
I'd give up whatever. I would give up Zibanejad at the deadline for a half season of Crosby.
I mean, I'd give up Zibanejad for a good amount right now.
Well, I'm just saying at the half season point, if the Penguins know they're not re-signing him and they know they're going to get deadline worth out of him, I would get rid of Zibanejad just for half season of Crosby. But that's not going to happen. We don't need to talk about that. He's not going to the Rangers. But I'm just like who could be? Who is kind of the ideal player we can get?
I mean, you look back. I was just thinking. You kind of look back at the deadline. Maybe like an Alex Tuck from Buffalo.
I don't think people are also saying that. Like I've seen this a lot where it's like, oh, we should have got Gensel. I really don't think this team, even with Gensel, was going to win. I don't think they're going to win with Gensel, and I think that you would have to give up a lot more. And it would have sucked to lose. The only bright side, like again, from really trying to get anything out of it, is they didn't give up anything this year at the deadline. So
yeah. Yeah, man.
I just feel bad for Igor. What are your thoughts on Laviolette? You think that there's any concern there with him? Would you blame him for anything? Like,
nah.
at the end of the day,
I mean, I wouldn't blame him for the loss. I think at this point, I feel like at this point, it's not the coaching. I mean, we've seen this.
At the end of the day, the players have to go out and play.
Yeah, and as a coach, when your top players don't perform, there's not much you can do. You're kind of handcuffed at that point.
I say this with him though, he should have done this a while ago. I get it, that line was buzzing the whole year, but you wanted.
I would have shaken up the lines.
You wanted to keep that line back, yes, but once you realize none of the other lines were going, you need to distribute the wealth, and especially break up Mika and Kreider. I think you don't play them together unless there's nothing else that can do, because they don't complement each other good at all unless it's shorthanded.
Yeah.
Their games don't really, they're not compatible. I think 5-on-5. I would like to see Hedl maybe stay at center. I know he's not great, and I know he gets hurt a lot, and I know he's not great on faceoffs, but I think that's such a big advantage where I think it's better for him moving to the neutral zone in the middle where he's not going to be able to do that on the wings. But again, it's a conversation for episode 1 of next year, but I don't know. There's really nothing I can say. I mean, luckily for me, mentally, I kind of already thought we were going to lose.
Tomorrow's still going to suck.
I already thought we were going to lose.
Tomorrow,
I have a couple like dreams where I'll I had a couple dreams last time in 2022 where like in my dream they were still in the playoffs and they won, and I'll probably wake up and be like, oh, we're still in the playoffs, and then I'll wake up tomorrow morning and be like, oh, we're eliminated. I don't know. I don't really know what to say. I mean, I don't know.
Tomorrow is always bad. The day after a loss, I said it last episode, is always like the day after you come back from vacation. It's just like everything kind of just sucks.
You know what though? At the end of the day, if we lose
in slow motion, it's like
I assume they're gonna win. I think they're gonna win, but I mean, who knows, right? I just cannot see them losing.
Right?
I can't see them losing. I'm saying the Panthers. I cannot see them losing to Edmonton.
Florida, yeah. And that's what sucks, is because this was really our year. You win the President's Trophy, you clinch home ice throughout. Your path is relatively easy.
They didn't beat the Panthers in regulation once this year.
What?
They didn't beat the Panthers once in regulation.
Yeah, that's true.
And they played them 9 times.
It's just you're up 2-1. You're up 2-1. You had They were an overtime goal away from going up 3-1. That game probably that was it. Losing that game.
It was very similar, like I said, to the Florida series or the Lightning series where you could go up 3-0.
Yeah.
And they didn't. So.
In game 5, I knew you kind of just knew.
I guess
history tells us.
And then another thing is we don't have to hear fucking Sean McDonough. Literally, he's so bad. I hope he gets fired, and I mean that in the nicest way possible.
He's the least of my worries. I don't even care about.
I know, but like I don't know. I guess maybe I would have probably liked to hear him if that meant the Rangers were winning, but
no, I mean he's not good. I'm just more fed up about the Rangers than I am the announcers.
I don't know. I really truly believe deep down inside that if this team, they need to make a drastic change this year. And it's not coaching. I keep Laviolette. I think he's.
Oh yeah, I mean you can't fire Laviolette after 1 year. You can't keep doing that. You can't, because then again it goes back to the whole core. Like if you just keep rotating coaches and it's not working,
he's not going out there and playing. I didn't.
You're never gonna have
him.
A coach is never gonna be successful when the stars don't show up.
I think he's a good coach, and I would like to see him stay here for a couple more years until. I think I wouldn't get rid of him until there's a rebuild in place. I think he's good enough to win with a team like this. I'd say this: they need to shake something up now. I keep saying it, but you can't waste Igor's prime, and this can't be a run it back thing. Chris Drury has got a hell of an offseason, I guess for his sake. Maybe with some of these trades, where maybe it helps that you hadn't traded any of those first round picks, so maybe you can help move a first round pick where some team will take Panarin's contract. I just feel it's just that also kind of makes me kind of sad, where it's like because he's such a fun, lovable guy and so good in the postseason, so good in the regular season, and then you're just gonna. It's a really disappointing end to his Rangers career if this is it for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it stinks. I really like Panarin.
He just doesn't have it in him. It's like the first year you could be like, okay.
He sucks against physical teams. He's not physical. Whenever the ice gets tight, he's decision making. He can't, his stick handling, the moves that he does, he doesn't work.
Yeah. It just seems like he's not gonna. He can't figure it. It's just not. People don't. It's just you either have it or you don't. You either have physicality or don't. It's not. It's nothing that he's not good enough as a player, skill wise. He is. It's just the way it's just the mental aspect and just the either have it or you don't. It's just the will to win and the will to give everything you have. He doesn't have, and don't take anything away from him. He's a great player. He's a great person. He's been an awesome New York Ranger, but you're not going to win with him. You're not going to win with him, and I think this really really tarnishes his legacy as a Ranger. This year really ended that.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think everybody's legacy this year is kind of tarnished. Mika's too.
I think Kreider is fine.
Kreider's fine.
Kreider and Igor and Fox are the only people I give passes to.
Obviously, yeah.
Even Fox. I mean, like again, you could look at the numbers. We might have had like 8 points in the postseason, but clearly hurt. And he never made any plays where he didn't do maybe enough, but he was great defensively this whole series. Didn't make any stupid plays where I was like, fuck, Fox made a bad play. We got scored on because of that. So he's worth every penny. He's gonna be up in the Raptors regardless. I think Igor will be up there. Kreider will. Guys that had a lot to prove and had like everything to gain, it was Panarin and Zibanejad, and they didn't come through. Like I said, those are the only 3 players, Panarin, Zibanejad, and Trouba, that I could see them having to do something with two of the 3. Preferably, obviously, Trouba and Panarin, but I just keep saying this again. It sucks because I really like Panarin. I think he's such a good guy, and he's been awesome Ranger in the regular season. He did everything right. He had a bad season, even wasn't great in the regular season. He came back, skewed the puck more, was getting into the center of the ice, got the 49 goals, scored 120 points, 100 points for the first time in his career. Shaved the hair to get rid of the bad juju of the playoffs. It's it. There's nothing else you can do. Right? There's nothing else you can do.
Except not grow the hair out for the playoffs.
Maybe that was the reasoning. Maybe next year he shaves it right before the play. I don't know. Let's be honest.
Nothing more. He's just not a playoff player. It is what it is. Him,
This was
Mika. It's just we could keep.
if
It's
listen.
just
I'd still be disappointed, but if he came out and dominated the playoffs and we still lost, I'd be like, okay, I'm confident this team. We didn't get the bounces, but our players were playing well. That's all I wanted to see out of him. I obviously wanted to win the cup, but we needed to see that out of him, and we didn't. It's over. It's over. They need to move on, and it's a hard pill to swallow. They got to move on from Panarin and Trouba. At the end of the day, yeah, he sucks, but I think he doesn't mean as much to this team as Panarin. If Trouba stayed flawless, you know what I mean? If he stayed flawless, didn't make any mistakes, didn't take any penalties, they still lose this series because
well,
they
yeah. I
didn't
mean,
score.
your second line forward is a lot more important than your just the defenseman.
Yeah, I don't know. It sucks to lose. It's just like a sadness where I'm not. Obviously, I
Just
feel I'd be.
disappointed.
The thing is though, if you want to lose, just don't lose in the Stanley Cup Finals because that would have really. I'd rather lose now.
They're all gonna sting. You get this
They
far, you play into June, they all sting. Whether you lose in this cup final, losing anywhere but losing anywhere, losing at any point in the
I
playoffs
don't know.
suck.
You just gotta hope that. I would just want to see them
Except
win
Game
one.
7 of the Stanley Cup's probably like a different level of like
I think if you just win once in my
devastation.
life. I just
I
want
don't
them to
think I'd ever
win.
recover from that.
I just want them to win once in my lifetime. Just once. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking for a
And
three-peat.
that's why
I don't even think it would be nice to win multiple cups. I think the one big payoff would be great, and then that's it. That's all I would need. You know what I mean?
I would like a stretch. I
I
would
don't
like one of
care.
my sports
It
teams to
doesn't
go like
really
back
mean
to
it
back.
to me personally. You know what I mean? Like it's like great, we won again. It's not the first time everybody remembers
Well,
the
yeah, the
first.
first one everyone remembers, but like then you want to if you win it again,
Well,
like
let's be
just
honest here.
you're happy for base. You're like
Everybody, wait, listen. Every person on the planet Earth right now, for the most part, has only seen them win one Stanley Cup.
yeah.
So that's all they remember is the first and their last. It's sad, because
Well,
I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. I'd still take back to back, man, because it's like
Do you
you
think they're
get
gonna give it?
basically
All
2
right,
years of just straight
I want to hear.
happiness.
All right, I'm gonna ask you questions. You give me yes or no. All right. Will Panarin be on the team next year?
Yes,
Will Zibanejad be on the team?
yes,
Will Trouba be on the team?
yes. I don't
So
think
you
they
don't
do
think
that.
they're gonna make
To be
any
honest, I don't
changes?
think they're gonna do
Do
much.
you think they're gonna run it back?
Probably they're
If they
gonna probably
run,
make some
listen,
minor moves. They're gonna have to because you're
my
gonna
thing
lose
is
some guys.
why I thought this year was different, just was because I thought the key to this was Panarin.
Yeah.
So the key to everything was Panarin. If he was playing well, he was dominating like he was in the regular season. They could maybe not even have Igor at his best, and I think they could still won the cup. And that was the only change where because everybody, the last couple of years, I was like, Panarin sucks in the playoffs. He's got to prove it. He's got to prove it. And this year, okay, he's going to do it this year. Look at him in the regular season, and he doesn't. There's nothing else. Like I said this just a couple minutes ago. There's nothing else he can do.
Mm-hmm.
What else can he do?
Mm-hmm.
Score 150 points next year?
That's the problem too. Another thing that sucks about
I don't
losing
know.
the
He's
playoffs
making
like
so much
this
money
is
too.
no matter what this team does in the regular season, none of it's gonna matter until like the postseason. The same thing for Panarin too. If he does come back, no matter what he does, and then with Mika, no matter what, and that's what stings. We have to wait another 10 months. Next regular season is gonna be such a freaking slog.
So
It's gonna be
hard to get this far in the playoffs too. Even if you're a great team, you could lose in the
yeah. Well,
first
I mean,
round.
you can't. I like I said, I never like the saying playing with house money or oh we're gonna be back. Everyone's like oh don't worry the Rangers will be back next year. You never know. Injuries happen. I mean the Rangers suffered a lot of injuries this year. Luckily they were pretty much healthy come postseason. But I mean I shouldn't say that. I mean there was obviously everybody's playing banged up this time of year on every single team that gets into the dance. But this team this year like you don't know next year. Knock on wood everybody stays healthy, but you don't know next year if one of your stars goes down
That's
or
true. What if Igor goes down and then misses
yeah,
the
I mean
whole
it's
season? Then
every
you can't.
it happens
I
every team. That's why when you get
1,000
this far, you got to capitalize.
1,000% agree. When you get this far,
Especially when you get this far for the second time in 3 years. It's been 3 years. And
Here's a good stat I saw. The
who years
Rangers
been scoring
in their
every
last 5 conference finals have been to 5 conference finals in 12 years and have had a series lead in all 5 of them. They've only won 1 and no Stanley Cups.
That's Rangers hockey. You know what else is Rangers hockey? Can't get the puck out of their own zone, dump and chase, line change. My God. I won't miss that this summer.
The 71 playoff team, 70 playoff teams since 2010. What is it? 70 playoff wins since 2010. Oh, the Rangers have 70 playoff wins since 2010, 0 cups. Everybody else has more than 70 or more. 70 or more has a cup. Tampa, Boston, the Caps, Vegas, the Blues, Pittsburgh, the Hawks, Avalanche, and Kings all have 70 plus playoff wins and have cups. The Rangers don't. Do you see this picture?
What's the picture?
Like,
it's a
Igor.
check with Igor.
You're probably crying. I mean, it just feels
I
so
think he
bad.
was crying on the bench.
It just. This is what fucking what's his dumbass says. What we built as a team here, it felt special this year.
Yes.
Felt like we had something in this room. It was a bond. Probably too soon to elaborate. Yeah, maybe don't. I don't think he's as bad as Panarin though. I'll give him
your
that.
head out of your butt on defense. And maybe if Trouba pulls his head out of his
times-
butt on
how many
defense, then
times
Rangers
Trouba's
aren't going home right now.
Wait, how many times has Trouba got out of position for them to score though? I mean, come on.
If Kreider knew that his 3 goals in Game 6 didn't win the Stanley Cup, if Panarin and Mika would have shown up, and if Trouba would have tried on defense, this team would be.
You know what I hate about this losing the most is you get all like this like sympathy like from the other team, like Maurice's like that was one of the best goaltending series I've ever seen. Like, shut the fuck up.
I actually think we're. Yeah.
Someone photoshopped the "I Can Die in Peace" now. You ever seen that? Where it's like 90 when they went in '94. Someone said, "I can die now."
You know what I saw earlier is the clip. I forget. People are probably gonna hate me here, or call me dumb for not knowing this. But it was some clip from a movie or something, and it's Lundqvist's face on top of somebody. It's like some like boat movie or whatever. I don't know, maybe Pirates. I don't know, whatever it is.
I have
but
no idea what you're talking
he
about.
and on the bottom of it, it's Igor, and Lundqvist says, "You new here?" It's literally the same thing. Lundqvist endured all this, and now here comes Igor. It's
it sucks.
Same thing. It's same garbage. It's Rangers hockey, baby. That's why we haven't won a cup in 3 years.
Like Panarin and Zibanejad, but it's a cutthroat business, and like you can imagine the Panthers fans were sad that they traded away Huberdeau, right?
Yeah, I mean at first.
But I'm saying like he was a player that he was grown.
Yeah, I mean a little bit, but I mean Tkachuk's.
He had 100 points, and it was like a little bit of a risk at that point. I mean, Tkachuk obviously is a great player, but they didn't think it was going to be this good. And you're taking a huge risk by getting rid of one of your leaders and one of your best players who just had a career high in points. It's a sad thing. It sucks as a fan, as a player. It doesn't feel good, but at the end of the day, you gotta make the move that's best for the team and not best for people's emotions or like player they got to make the right move.
Yeah,
they have to make sure that they get the guys that have the best chance of winning the cup, and Panarin isn't that guy.
Yeah, he's not a winning player. I'll say this too. It just I don't know. It just feels like the Rangers just didn't want it today. Like they came out flat.
It seems like the desperation kind of just was too much. Yeah.
They didn't come out flat. They just weren't good enough. Just Tkachukking around. Says, anyone seen my mouth guard? You want me to pull out the
Yeah, like Panthers fans, I feel like
it's probably that and his backhanded goal shorthanded were the 2 best plays Kreider made all series. I know Tkachuk said that, so You're not wrong. Kreider
Chuck, I feel like
disappeared.
the
He's not
Panthers
wrong.
fans can't. If I was a Panthers fan, I wouldn't be talking any shit right now. I would just be like, Rangers, we
Yeah, I
beat
mean,
you. You're in the review mirror. Let's go win the cup. I don't. If I was a Panthers fan, I don't think it's smart. I think at the end of the day, you just gotta focus on that next series.
they
I think the Rangers don't mean shit to you now. I don't see the sense of talking shit. Like I would never talk shit after beating a team in the playoffs. That's just my opinion. I think people obviously do that, but unless you beat them in the finals, you got to keep going. I mean, because if
yeah.
you
I
go
guess.
if you don't
I mean,
win, then it
fans
doesn't
don't
matter.
really have to. Fans, the players and coaches obviously got to turn it around quickly, but fans don't really. Fans could trash talk for the next 4 days until the cup starts. They don't have to focus on preparing for the opponent. So I mean, it comes with the territory. I mean, he's not wrong. Like Kreider was.
Kreider wasn't good,
and look,
but
and there's no room to talk as a Ranger fan either. I don't want to see this or that or whatever. The Rangers sucked this series in a lot of ways. Their stars got outplayed by Florida Stars, got out physical, and Rangers are going home. And there's no way to back that up. I mean, like, people are gonna talk all the trash they want. You really can't.
It's open season.
Yeah.
Damn, you see, Trump was at UFC, and he walked right past
Rogers.
Mr. Discount Double Check.
He's our only hope right now. Them and the Yankees.
The Yankees. What's the Yankees though? Like my thing about the Yankees is like I've already seen them win. It's just a different feeling for me personally. Like baseball, I love baseball.
I've never seen a team. I've never seen my favorite team.
I love watching the Yankees. They're a fun team to watch, and they're always good. It just seems like they're always good, and they win. They won a lot. The Rangers just seem like a team of every year where you think they're going to win, and they find ways to disappoint.
That's kind of the same little bit with the Yankees. It's like,
but it's not as
the
bad
Yankees have been similar.
The Yankees have won so much though, just in the general.
Yeah,
sense.
but like not recently.
Not much in our lifetimes.
They've got
just in the general sense.
Got one championship in the last 2 decades. They haven't won a championship in 15 years.
Rangers haven't won in 30 years.
No, yeah.
They've won
saying
twice.
Like similarity. Rangers and Yankees recently, when it comes to getting to the playoffs and getting bounced every year, it's been the same song and dance for both teams.
I don't know who's going to be the next team from New York to win. That's my thing.
It's if anything, it'll be the Yankees, and if not, your next best chance is probably the Jets.
But it's the Jets, though. It's the Jets.
And then if not, it's probably going to be the Knicks and then you'd have to kind of shift gears. Knicks and the Rangers. I mean, the Knicks will probably be good next year.
Yeah, the Knicks should be good.
The Knicks were going to should be. I don't know. Either way, it's already midnight. So, any closing thoughts? We'll have a series recap up for a season recap season recap off-season preview up probably a couple days once the dust settles for this one and we kind of move on from it, I guess. Although you never fully move on from these things until the team actually wins, which we've got to wait another calendar year for that. So
I'd say this, the biggest thing about this, it just sucks that we have to wait like you're saying, like almost a year to the playoffs again, and then nothing's given.
Luckily, we don't have to wait too long for hockey to be back. Once September rolls around, you start to get into training camp mode, and
so like what the hockey will be over at the end of this month. Then you have June and August, kind of like or July and August.
You really have July and August, and that's it. So
and then September and then October. I mean, I guess it sucks.
Look. Here's the positive. Not really positive, but we'll all be fired up. Everyone will pump out their hype videos on opening night. We'll all, whatever the Rangers do in the offseason, whether it's something major like trading Panarin or Mika and bringing in somebody like Brady Tkachuk, which would be awesome, or whether it's something minor, kind of bringing in more, I guess, role players, which they don't really need, but bringing in those guys to replace some of these free agents.
Yeah, I agree. They don't need the role players. They have all of them in place.
But
they have everything in place. But it's got to be the guy. The guys getting the big bucks need to play well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
and those
whatever the Rangers,
those players are very easy to get. The role players are interchangeable. You know what you need to get out of them. It's hard. It's hard to get elite performers in the playoffs. So
yeah, and whatever. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, whatever they do in the offseason, we'll all be ready to go once the first game rolls around in October. So,
We'll probably be,
Appreciate you all too for following along this postseason.
I'll say this too is we'll probably obviously be sad for the next couple days, maybe the week, and then
It usually takes me a good day or two, and I've
it kind of sucks because
then once exit interviews happen and the players kind of move on at that point, like they'll probably have exit interviews probably Monday. So you'll do exit interviews, locker clean out day. Once that kind of happens, it's like the season's officially over. Then usually I kind of get over it. Tomorrow will be rough. I'll be pretty down in the dumps tomorrow. I always am the day after.
I don't know. I kind of just same
probably
thing,
Tuesday.
Right?
I'll kind of at that point. Probably Tuesday. I'll start to get over it.
Maybe we'll get out. Maybe on Wednesday we can get something out. I can't.
Yeah,
Tuesday I'm busy. I
do it
can't.
Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever.
Wednesday would be a good day. So maybe on Wednesday we'll have the video up. But as Bubbs was saying before, I kind of cut him off. But we thank you guys for the support. It was a good first season of talking Rangers, but
more to come.
Didn't end up
season talking Rangers.
Didn't end up the way we wanted to. It was a good. What was it? When did we start this? October. So what's that? What 10 months or no, not 10 months. 8 months.
8 yeah.
8 months. Yeah, 8 months. It was a good 8 months run there. But
let's see. Three more comments. Rangers are missing the oomph. They're very good, but tippy tap in the elimination games that does not cut it. Yeah, totally agree. Their stars were more physical than our stars. They were also just better. This core is not winning a cup with the Panthers around. Yeah, I agree. Definitely.
They could beat the Panthers.
Panthers could have.
They had a guy that the Panthers are definitely.
They need another physical piece.
The Panthers are definitely I think the Rangers are just as good as the Panthers, but in the sense is, like I keep saying, the goaltending can't be that much better than your team because you can't win a series like that. If you look at on paper of the final score and how the games are played, and at the end of the day, the goalie's on your team. He's a part of your team, so they are very even with the Panthers because of the goaltending. But I think in any series or any team that you play against where the goaltender makes the series even, you can't really win that series.
Yeah,
that's all I'll say about that.
And I'll also say this as well. Jeez, midnight. My brain is shut down. What was I going to say? Maybe I don't know. Panthers win the cup. Maybe it's kind of a little bit of a hangover next year, and they kind of have a similar year like Vegas, where
that's been what it's been 5 straight years of
Stanley Cup and bounce.
Florida teams in the finals.
Oh well, yeah, that's true. What was I talking about? Tampa went back to back. I'm an idiot. I'm too tired. Anyway, yeah. So maybe they get bounced. You don't have to go after them, but you still got Carolina, of course. So we'll see. But this core's not winning a cup. That's clear. And this team is a joke. Core will never win. Make huge changes to defensive system and personnel. And this guy's going all out. Fire Drury.
No, Drury did a good job. Drury wasn't the one who signed. He wasn't the one who signed Panarin or Trouba. So you can't. For the two glaring things on this team, at the end of the day, if you look at the major impacts, why they didn't win the series is the guys that he didn't sign. He didn't trade for. He didn't sign Panarin. He didn't trade for Trouba. He signed Gaudreau, who people are going to hate on that contract because it's a lot of money, but he's a good playoff guy. He's definitely somebody you want in the playoffs. Trocheck is phenomenal. He was able to get, what's his face? Oh my God. Cooley. I think getting him into the lineup, he didn't draft him, but obviously gets him inserted. I think that's a good play. He drafts Gabe Perreault, who, again, a couple of years down the line, maybe he'll be a good player. Kind of seems like a Panarin player from what I've seen out of him. Very skilled, very high octane, but can really get squandered. I know we're talking about Gabe Perreault here. I'm sorry. But he seems like a guy that's not going to be able to play in tight checking games, but he's a small guy. But Drury's been good. Drury's not the problem here. The coaching isn't the problem here. It's the players. And at the end of the day, your general manager doesn't go out and win games. It's the players who does. He does put the team around. But again, I said this before. He didn't sign Trouba to contract. He didn't trade for him. He didn't sign Panarin's contract. And those are the biggest glaring holes. And I don't believe he re-signs Zibanejad. He might have. I don't know if Davidson and Gordon did that, but even if he did, I don't think it's a horrible contract. $8.5 million for him, who's a point of game player and good in the 3 phases of the game, but to not show up in the playoffs sucks. But I'll just finish this little rant. We're saying I think he's not the problem. I don't think the jury's fine.
Wow. Right. We'll end it here in a second. Just a couple other comments. Let this team continue to grow and make minor changes.
No, they need to. This is not just a minor fix. You could say this 2 years ago, maybe even last year. Once, fluke. Like it's baseball. 3 strikes and you're out. And Panarin struck out in the playoffs.
Rangers are in a bad spot because they can't get rid of Mika, Panarin, Kreider, Trouba. They can get out and they buy out Trouba.
I'll say this about that comment. Kreider,
you're not getting rid of Kreider. Yeah,
Kreider needs to stay here. He's a proven.
Nor are the Rangers going to do that.
He's going to be a Ranger. I like Kreider. I think, he wasn't great in this series, but again, he had a phenomenal Game 6. When the Rangers were down in the dumps, he's come out in the playoffs and played well since 2014. He's an all-time Ranger. I won't say anything bad about Kreider, especially after that Game 6. That kind of got me. Okay, he's done in the playoffs again. He didn't win the cup.
Sorry, I appreciate all the comments, guys, but this. What are we talking about here? 3rd and 4th lines are terrible. Really, those are the only 2 lines that showed up this entire series.
They were awesome.
We just called, dude. You did not, Richard. You clearly did not watch a single.
What team in the playoffs?
How are the 3rd and 4th lines terrible? If 2 of your 4 goal scorers came on those lines,
you need.
Please elaborate.
They had 5 goal scorers. Panarin scored.
Oh yeah, it's true. 2 of the 5. Panarin's goal doesn't count. The ones that actually mattered.
Your 3rd and 4th line, you need gritty goals and you need just good possession play where you can kind of help wear the other team down, play good defense, and get those goals here and there. But there's no team in the NHL that's going to produce all through the playoffs on their 3rd and 4th line. I mean, that's just not realistic. At the end of the day, those 3rd and 4th lines are there to be an energy line, play good defense, and like I said, bang bodies, cycle the puck good, and get 1 or 2 big goals, which they did. Gautreau scored 5 goals in this playoffs, 6 goals. Wenberg had an overtime goal. Cooley scored. Kakko scored a goal. Rempe scored a goal. Like these guys all somewhat contributed. It wasn't I don't think there was many times in the playoffs and in the series where it's like the 3rd and 4th line give up goals. I mean, the goals were given up on power plays, and the first 2 lines gave up a lot of goals. So at the end of the day, it's those guys' fault for not scoring and giving up goals. I mean, if you want to go back and look at it, I don't think the 3rd or 4th line really
3rd or 4th line
gave up anything, right? Did they really give up many goals in the playoffs and in the series?
I mean, well, that's the problem with Mika and Kreider was the one thing we can kind of hang our hat on with them, or even Mika this year, even when he was struggling, was his defense. That's something that wasn't there this postseason. And into the Adam Fox stuff, look, I mean, he wasn't great this series, but it seemed like he was playing hurt. I wouldn't say.
Okay, bro, Allen and Herstory. Jesus, what is that comment?
I don't even know. I just
saw Adam Fox.
He thought Fox looked like he was playing with the shame of being what?
That is the try. I don't care, man. That's so funny.
This is what I call 12-13 at night. It's probably time to end the stream.
Drury is I agree. Drury's not the blame. I just said that.
Look, anytime you lose in the playoffs like this after winning pros, there is always blame.
Maybe we're overreacting about some things. Like,
I think
at heart, I don't know if you think the same way. They have to move on from Panarin.
Yeah,
it's not going to happen though. I don't expect. I expect them to run it back.
Salty fans. I'm assuming those are the people in the comments, not us, because he also said that Fox is playing hurt, which I agree with.
Yeah, he's an awesome player, and it sucks that he got hurt. They'll just say that. He's like there's the Rangers fans can't get. We can't be too.
We know this, dude. Richard, man, we talked about this half hour ago. We said that if Igor, we literally said the same thing. If Igor wasn't here, they get swept. That's not.
I'll say this too. Is listen, you guys can all be doom and gloom and panicking. This team's close to winning the cup.
It's not even doom and gloom. Some of these are just not right.
Something. This team is very close to winning. It's just like it's a major part too. If you want to say that too, where you gotta like Tweak is going to be a guy like Panarin, but you have Fox, Norstrop. You have the best goalie in the league. You have Trocheck, who's a great 200-foot player, wins faceoffs. gritty, great playoff player, led the team in scoring with 20 points. Lafreniere's turning into a superstar player. He's going to be a point a game when he gets put on the power play. When he gets put on the power play next year, not if. He will be on the power play next year. Kreider is a gritty guy. Needs to be a little more physical. He's going to go away for games, but he's also going to come through in games. I'll give him that. Since he does go away, but he comes through. He's an all-time Ranger. He's great in front of the net. He kills penalties. You have him. You have Miller and Schneider, who are young guys. Maybe you can build. Maybe they get better. But I just think at the end of the day, the fix is getting rid of Panarin and replacing him with a player not to the as high caliber of scoring. You're not going to get that, but just a guy that can score in the playoffs. I'd rather have a guy that gets 80 points and can play in the playoffs than a guy who gets 120 points in the regular season does nothing. I'll say that. It seems not far. We're not far away. It sucks. We're sad. They should have done better this year. Could have won. But I don't think it's blow it up time. I think it's retooling and getting rid of guys that aren't effective in the playoffs. And you have a lot of players that can be effective, and like Kakko and Cooley are guys that I think people need to give more credit to, especially Kakko. I think Kakko gets a horrible rap. He's not a second overall pick player, but he's going to be a good player. They just got to give him playing time.
Yeah, and it's a positive too. Look, you want to kind of try and take away positives. Laughs a beast. Obviously, he kind of really was dominant this year, like you said. Richard here said Trocheck, Laffy, best players in the team. We need a half dozen more. That's a stretch. I mean, I would consider Igor one of the best players on the team personally.
They need two things. Zibanejad hopefully can kick in to what he was in the 2022 playoffs. He was very good. He was bad in the last playoffs too, and the Devils playoff run in that one series. Panarin's just a guy who's not going to do it. And if you can replace him, like I said, with a player with comparable to a little less scoring wise, but it can play physical and be effective in the playoffs, and you take that 10 times out of 10. And I think if you added a guy like Brady Tkachuk in place of Panarin, I think this team wins the cup, because I just think his presence and his consistency on the ice, getting a lot of playing times, banging bodies, getting to those dirty goals with a play from Igor, they could definitely win the cup. But I don't think a guy with Panarin with this team is going to be enough to win. If he virtually does nothing, I mean, nothing is honestly an understatement of what he did in this playoffs, and especially the series. He was able to play good again. Or let's be honest, like, did he even dominate against the Capitals? No, I think we kind of just gave him a pass. Like, he played good enough in that series.
Yeah, I mean, I think this whole playoffs up to this point, I think it was all kind of.
Another thing, I can't stand this. I don't care if we keep rambling on. I don't care. You can't just say he scored an overtime goal. You can't hang your hat on that. Like, that can't be. Oh well, he didn't play good. Oh, he scored an overtime goal. Even the Hurricanes.
Our Hurricanes.
It doesn't matter.
None of them. No, guess what? Guess what? None of its overtime goals mean anything because the Rangers haven't won the cup in any of those years, so it doesn't matter. All right, that's probably about it. Appreciate everybody who's commenting, ask questions, stuff like that. Rangers are soft. Yeah, I mean the Rangers. Yeah, I mean they got to get more physical, especially the Stars specifically.
Well, you can't teach that. That's what I'm saying, that they got to get rid of Panarin. He's never going to be that. Panarin, you can't expect Panarin to be that player.
And
you're an idiot if you think that you run this back and it's going to be any different. It's going to be the same thing next year. Maybe they have a great regular season. Maybe they don't win the President's Trophy. Maybe they get a decent matchup in the first round. But then it's going to be tough to beat a team like Carolina. It's going to be tough because they're going to get better. They're going to get goaltending. It's going to be tough to beat a team like the Florida Panthers. They would need. I mean, what else? It's mind-boggling.
Totally.
What else could they have done to win this series? Shesterkin cannot have played any better.
Yeah.
They cannot.
Look, the Panthers were just better. There's just not really much else.
Shesterkin literally. I don't even think a shutout wouldn't have been enough because we still wouldn't have scored.
Probably not.
There's
averages they had to have scored at some point.
That is true. I mean, none of the teams score, but I don't know. It's just that's what really pisses me off. That's the one thing I get pissed off besides the Panarin and Zibanejad thing is Shesterkin could have not played any better. Not any better in this series. He played. I would take this 1,000 times out of 1,000. He played unbelievable. He was the best player in either. He's the best player in the playoffs. He's better than McDavid. He's better than any of the players in this league. I don't care what you say. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. They didn't win, He is the best player in the NHL right now. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because one player in hockey cannot win the cup. At the end of the day, it's a team sport. You need multiple guys to come through. It's frustrating to waste a performance like this. If they don't make a drastic change soon, then they're gonna Lundqvist him, and then who knows? It's gonna be a down spiral because let's be honest here, they're not getting another generational goalie after this for a while. In the NHL, how many teams do you see need goaltenders year after year?
Yeah.
The Rangers have this. This is their chance. If they don't win the cup with Shesterkin, it's going to be like 40 plus years by the time they win the next. I mean, they're already at 30. They're going to go another 10 plus years if they don't win with him. So that's all I'm going to say. I don't know. I keep rambling. We keep talking about. I don't know. It's just frustrating to see a goaltender go to waste, and we don't deserve him. And
it's the
listen,
same
next
thing
I
we've
think
seen.
I think he's up after next year. So does he resign? I wouldn't.
Yeah, that's something
I wouldn't
that's something
resign.
about that's a whole year from now. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Any closing thoughts?
No, like I said, I'll say this again. Appreciate you guys.
Yep, for all the
Subscribing,
support.
following our X. Commenting. Watching the videos. We appreciate it. Liking the videos. We'll be back with one more video soon.
Yeah. And then we'll have we'll probably have off-season content as well, like free agency.
Yeah,
We'll
like you're
probably
saying, if
do
anything major happens,
any
maybe we could do
news.
something for the draft. I don't know. I really don't know.
I'm sure too. We'll probably have some guests on. We'll probably have a guest on as well.
We could do like a free agency stream too when that happens.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get
It'll be
a lot of
spurts.
content.
It'll be spurts of videos, and then obviously when we're back in end of September, we'll be back every week. But yeah,
really. Well, once training camp starts, which only 2 months. When training camp rolls on, we'll be back in the fold. So a couple months. We'll have episodes out, a little less, but more sporadically. But we'll have content, and appreciate you all. We will see you probably a couple days for the end of season recap video and off season preview. So till then, one final time, LGR.